It is the Brink, and we are back after about a month away from your speakers, in which you were missing us incredibly every single Monday. And we're coming to you today, technically on a Tuesday, to bring you maybe the biggest episode we have ever done in the history of the Brink, because a lot of long-term listeners to this show would remember our love and admiration for a certain actor called Kevin Bacon that we used to mention and talk about basically every single morning on the show. Really, we had an image of him in the studio, we would look up to him, we would get our guests involved. It was just a fun old time to be part of the Brink. And after years upon years of trying to get something locked in, of hunting the man down, we managed to track him down with his brother Michael in their band, the Bacon Brothers. And during the week, I had the absolute honour and pleasure to sit down with both Michael and Kevin Bacon to interview them about their band, about their latest album, about everything else in between. And this is why we're back. This is why a special edition of our show coming back to your speakers. It's not even a proper full edition of the Brink. We'll have one of those for you next week. Today it's purely about the interview with the man that you've been wanting to hear on the show since the very moment we mentioned his name. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and sit in awe as we speak with the Bacon Brothers here on the Brink. For over 20 years, my next guests have been entertaining music fans right across the globe and proving once and for all that everything is better with bacon. I do, of course, speak of Michael and Kevin Bacon, aka the Bacon Brothers, who are joining us direct from the US as they continue their tour in support of their latest album. Guys, welcome!
Hello, how are you?
Oh, fantastic, guys, fantastic. How are you? Obviously, a bit of a time difference here between the two countries, but you know, we're here, we're chatting, and you guys are about to wrap up the tour. You've been on the road supporting this new album, so how are you guys feeling as this tour sort of comes to a bit of a close?
Well, this is Michael speaking. We have we played a night in Rhode Island, and then we finish in our home state, Pennsylvania, tomorrow. And it's been a lot. I mean, it's 46 dates in the summer, but I have to say the crowds have been incredible. A lot of sellouts, a lot of great venues. We have a great crew. We have a fantastic band, and the audience has been superb. And the record seems to be getting a little traction here and there, which is very exciting for us. So I would say overall it's 100%.
And it must be the fun part, I guess, of this process of putting an album together, getting it out there on the road, and as you said, getting the support there from the fans. I mean, is this the best part of producing an album for you guys, is finally getting the public to be able to hear these songs perform live?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what keeps it going, because if you write songs, you play them for yourself, and then you play them for your wife, then you play them maybe for your brother or maybe for the band, but eventually you need to step outside of your bubble and see how people react to them. It's the same thing with I think painters and poets. If you're a creative person, you want to see how people react, and that's what playing live is about for us.
And given a 4-year gap since 36 Cents came out, I mean, do you guys have sort of a process that you have some songs that perhaps don't make one album that you keep on the back burner a little bit, rework and kind of produce for a new album, or is it kind of completely a new slate and you want to get some new material out there when you do go out and produce a new album?
I think it's pretty much all of the above. We're playing a song on this new record that we performed on our very first gig 24 years ago. That Kevin just kind of revisited and threw it out there and tossed the ball out, and everybody caught it. And so we have those, and we have newer songs we've written, and it's kind of, as usual, everything's all over the place and not particularly well planned, more sort of moshed together at the last moment.
Well, I think a lot of press has been going around the song Tom Petty T-shirt, and really sort of enjoyed reading and listening to the stories sort of behind that song. And with the tour, I mean, have you found sort of a lot of fans coming up relating to the lyrics, and particularly, given that we lost Tom sort of recently, that a lot of people then share their love with the career of Tom and sort of appreciate that song that you guys have put out there?
I think that we have noticed, and that people, some people know that song, and that's pretty unusual for us, because generally, when we play, people really are not familiar with the songs. I mean, if they're kind of diehard Bacon Brothers fans who've seen us the last time we were through town, that's one thing. But a lot of times it's we're introducing them to new music. So yeah, that's with Tom Petty T-shirt. It's been nice because people seem to have some kind of knowledge of that song. I think we've noticed that some people are showing up with Tom Petty T-shirts on, which is
nice.
Pretty funny. Yeah, there was a very, very large older gentleman who had quite a few cocktails the other night at a show who wanted us to see him in his Tom Petty T-shirt with it on and with it off. He took it off and held it up for us as well. So I guess you got to take the you take it as it comes.
And I hope afterwards he wanted to get you guys to sign the shirt both on and off, like as you said.
We didn't see it after the show. I think we made a speedy exit.
Right. Yes, of course. I mean, personally, I'm a huge fan of Boys in Bars. I mean, I think it's a great song. Got a real different mix of types of music there. I mean, that must have been an interesting song to come together. Was that a simple case of you guys sitting in some bars and coming up some lyrics, or is there a bit more to that song at all?
Well, that's one of mine.
One thing.
Go ahead, man.
Well, one thing it's a song from our first record, but in our live show we do something that's actually really a lot of fun. We did a video of that song maybe 20 years ago, where we're both in and members of our family are, and we project it and play along with it, so the audience gets to see us as we were singing the song 20 years ago.
Wow.
With us singing the song live. So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was written being reminiscent of the 70s and moving to New York. I moved to New York in 1976, and I started working in a bar on New York's Upper West Side. And I was still a teenager, and it was kind of like the closest thing that I had to a college life in a funny kind of way. This group of characters and when we did this last record, since Michael had come up with the idea of singing it along with the video, we'd been playing the song again, and we kind of discovered. I mean, for one thing, we not to get too technical, but we decided to transpose it up higher than it was originally written, which really kind of helped the song and took it to a different sort of level. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, we love playing that song. We love playing it with the video.
Well, as I said, definitely love listening to that one. I've had that one on repeat a few times, sort of in the last couple of days. And another one too, in Driver. I do love your lyric in that one. A subtle reference, I feel, to a classic Aussie song when it comes to Kookaburra sits in an old gum tree. Which can I just say, great connection here to Australia, guys. Thanks for that.
That's right. We forgot about that. That's right.
Funny.
Yeah.
Which is, it's funny because I didn't realize how much well known that song is overseas. I as an Australian, we're kind of in a bubble, and then all of a sudden, when I chat to some Americans, they're like, "Yeah, we love that song about that kookaburra," and I'm like, "Dude, you guys know that song? What's going on?"
Well, the way it works in our family is our father loved the song, and our sister Hilda was a guitar player and singer, and every time she picked up the guitar, he would make her play it for him.
Wow.
So that kind of became symbolism of something, but there it was.
Wow. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. And I have to say, I mean, with the tour, wrapping up there for you guys, sort of in your home state, I mean, do you then have sort of plans to bring it out on the road a little bit further? Because, over here, we want to see you guys. We want to bring you guys out here to Australia so you can perform these songs for us down this side of the world.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Has it been sort of an idea that you guys have kind of wanted to get out there a little bit further than sort of North America and bring it out to this side of the world, or is it ever sort of gets discussed, or is it kind of just depending really on scheduling, given that you guys obviously are quite busy outside of this project as well?
Well, we did a tour of Germany a couple of years back, which was very successful and a lot of fun. The problem with the logistics, we can kind of set up a tour in the U.S. with a certain amount of lead time so that we can get a sense of Kevin's shooting if he's doing a movie or TV show and work around that. And when you go international, you're adding quite a bit of time to that run-up, so it just gets more problematic to schedule it. But, for me, I love to travel. I love playing in other places, and I've heard some talk about maybe trying to get to Australia, so I'm hoping that someday that would happen.
Well, we definitely want to try and get that happen. I mean, I have a couple of ideas when it comes to that too, guys. I mean, I'm originally from the beautiful state of Tasmania, and we used to have a state politician come on our show a long time, actually called Scott Bacon, and we used to always try to sell the fact that Kevin, he was like your long lost nephew or something like that, and we said if we ever get the Bacon brothers on the show, we can get you to like help promote him, kind of say like, hey, vote one for Scott Bacon. I mean, we could get this happening, get you guys to Tasmania, get him on stage. I mean, I'm sure he's related to you guys somehow.
Absolutely. No, that would make it happen for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the catalyst right there.
The real selling point. And also, I mean, if you go across the ocean to our neighbours in New Zealand as well, there's a restaurant in Christchurch called Bacon Brothers. So I'm sure we could hook up you guys with like an advertising campaign or something like that.
Huh.
I there was a restaurant in Christchurch called Bacon Brothers.
I think we need to get you guys sort of just connected with this. We're helping you out here, guys, today. It's all good. You're welcome. But I mean, Michael, given your accomplishments as a composer, when it comes to sort of working with Kevin and the band and putting these songs together, is there much different in coming together with a song, say, that you're having to put with lyrics and performing live eventually, compared to writing a score that you're going to be using for TV and movies? I mean, what's sort of the real difference between a lyric song and a song without lyrics?
It's surprisingly different. The process of writing music for films and television is, first of all, very client-based, very time-based, huge deadlines, huge amounts of changes and revisions constantly, a lot of organization. And the most important thing is that when you sit down to do your work, you have to be able to turn off and on your creative output like a water spout, water faucet. And if you can't do that, you can't do this job. Whereas in the band, we're a totally songwriting-driven band that, as I said, we wait till we have 10 songs that we wrote that we're happy with, and then we'll make a CD. And it's the same when we go live. Everything is sort of based around the song. We don't really have a sound. We make the song the driver of the sound rather than the band the driver of the song. And this is a much more painstaking, kind of torturous process of which neither Kevin nor I have ever figured out what it is happening to you that particular day that causes you to respond to a feeling or an experience that turns into a song. And so if I write one song that I like a year, that's pretty good, whereas in my composition life, I'm churning out huge quantities of music all the time.
And someone like myself, I have an absolutely terrible memory. So that's, one of the many reasons why I've never become a musician, because I'd get up on stage, start singing one of my songs, and I wouldn't remember the lyrics. And Kevin, does it help you sort of with your background, given that a lot of your career is based on learning lines and remembering for acting? Does that help you when it comes to sort of things like that, performing live, that you never forget lyrics when performing live?
I really don't forget lyrics when I'm performing live, or very, very, very rarely. Every once in a while, if I'm like super, super tired or something like that. But I don't know if it's because of acting, because, I don't know if, people often ask me about the line memorization part of acting. And I always say that it's honestly the easiest part of it. It becomes kind of like a muscle, and you certainly, if you haven't worked it out for a while, you need to, get your mind back into the line learning thing. And if it's a long speech, you have to really, concentrate on it. But remembering lyrics has never really been an issue. What I find with songs, the thing that's related to acting, is that if you forget what the song is about, and you forget what your emotional connection to the song was, or where your head is at, and sometimes you don't sing it quite as well. And then sometimes that'll screw you up on the lyrics, because your mind is wandering, and you're just kind of, delivering it in a technical as opposed to like a really emotionally connected kind of way. And if I find myself doing that, I tend to, kind of have an inner dialogue with myself and say, okay, let's go back to what it was you were thinking about when you wrote this, or whatever it is that you feel about it, and that'll help both with the singing, but also with the line, with remembering the the words.
Great way of looking at it. I didn't really think about it that way. That's fantastic. I have to say, one of my favourite songs, though, that you guys have ever done, Philadelphia Chickens. I mean, God, that song's been stuck in my head basically all week. But the thing that amazes me most about that is if I type your name, Michael, into the Oracle of Bacon, you have a Kevin Bacon number of 1 purely because of Philadelphia Chicken. So that must mean that just makes it a complete career highlight that, hey, I would expect you to have a Kevin Bacon number of 1, so it works on many levels.
I didn't know that. I got to check out the Oracle of Bacon. I didn't know there was such a thing.
I'm sure Kevin, you've heard
one
of
is something.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why Philadelphia. I guess because we were in the video together or something.
Yeah. I think that's the connection. And just before I let you guys go, I have to say, Kevin, quickly. I mean, my favourite film you've ever done is The Air Up There. So I'm really hoping that one day we can see an album which you guys have a song called the Jimmy Dolan Shake and Bake. Can we make that happen perhaps for the next album?
Yeah. We'll get right on that.
Perfect. Of course, everybody out there, the new album called The Bacon Brothers, now available online, all leading retailers. You can also check out more details by the guys via baconbrothers.com across all the social networks. Michael and Kevin, huge pleasure having you on the show. All the best for the final show in your home state. And guys, head out this side of the world. I'll shout you both a beer, and I'll show you how boys and bars react in Australia.
All right.
Sounds good.
Look forward to it.
Buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
What an absolute pleasure and honour that was. And can you believe that essentially after all those years of talking about the man himself, he's on this very show with his brother, the equally awesome Michael there, and just a fantastic interview. And big thanks to the management at Bacon Brothers to enable that interview to actually happen. And finally have this happen on your speakers. So it is an absolute pleasure to have brought that for you today. And of course, with that, if you haven't liked us on Facebook, you're going to like us on Facebook now. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe, or on YouTube, or on the internet. We're everywhere, basically. And make sure that when you do there, leave us a comment, say hello, tell us what you liked about the interview, tell us how amazing Kevin Bacon is, and everything else in between, because we would like to hear from you along the way. And next week, we will be back with pretty much our final episode from Brisbane, because we are leaving this part of the world, and a lot of other little adventures and admirages, that doesn't really make sense, to come in the few weeks that we're going to be having some special episodes. So stay tuned, we'll talk more about that next week as our little hiatus comes to a close. And what a way for us to come to a close with what you've just heard today. But until next week, Hobart, please do keep sucking those oranges, and good night.